Right. Let's talk about removing the rear wheel, and specifically for removing the rear wheel, pulling the hall sensors and phase wires out of the controller compartment and through the frame of the bike so that we can remove the rear wheel completely. So the first thing I would do is remove the power wires. Even though it's not necessary for getting the phase wires out, it's to make room inside this little circle for all this other stuff to go out. All of these are Phillips screws, but they're easy to strip, so I prefer to use a socket, and the 8mm socket is what fits. So we'll just start by removing the power wires. So now that those are loose, you can pull them right out. And note that this was already unplugged and the battery's already removed on the other side of the bike. That's something that you have to do first. So the next piece that needs to come off is the phase wires. That's all three of these right here. 1, 2, 3. Let's start from the bottom and move up. So 1, 2, 3. So our phase wires are unscrewed. Now when you first open this up, it's going to look like this, with this cap on your extra phase wires plug. So we'll remove that, and then we'll unplug, I meant hall sensor, the hall sensor. So now we're ready to pull this out. And with the phase wires in, there's not room to remove the hall sensor plugs yet. So we'll start by pulling out the phase wires. So there's our phase wires out. And now with the phase wires out and the power plug out, we have room for those hall sensor plugs to come out. So now we've removed the cable from the controller compartment, and it's time to go around the bike and work on getting the cable out of the battery compartment. So here's our cable. We'll pull it through here. Be careful not to let it get snagged on anything and tear it out. Now we've got our phase wires and our hall sensor plugs down here, where we're almost ready to try to get in through this really narrow space between the battery cage and the frame. Right here in the way, we've got this cable which goes down to the alarm, which we want to make sure we don't snag. We've also got this cable which goes down to the torque sensor. We're actually going to unplug this because we'll pull it through and out of the way as we move around the back here to get stuff done. So let's move the camera back here. So here is the hole that we have to fit everything through. This grommet was covering this hole. Go ahead and slide it out of the way, but we can't because we have the torque sensor cable here that's also in it. So we'll pull that through first and we will pull it through the grommet as well. And that way we can get the grommet completely out of the way. So we'll tuck this guy over here, and now we'll pull the grommet out of the way. And now we don't have room yet to get the hall sensor cables out. Instead, we have to get the phase wires out first. So we'll pull the phase wires. There's the first, second, and third. Now that we have those out, we can pull the first hall sensor and second hall sensor out. And now our rear wheel is completely detached.